talking about sprinting fresh and whatnot. So let's say you have athletes that, are new to the program, or you're just, freshmen, whatever, and you sprint them once and they're sore for 2 or 3 days. Are you going to back off that completely and just do some of your X factor stuff, or are you still going to have those guys sprint 2 to 3 times a week?
Those guys are not going to be your frontline players, probably. I mean, if you report in an unathletic condition, and you're sore for 3 days from doing 60 seconds of work, and that's what we're talking about here. You talk about small investment in that 20-minute speed workout / warm-up that you're doing at the start of practice. Those guys are only working 60 seconds. So if you're sore for 3 or 4 days after that, then you didn't report ready. So what I would do is I would treat those guys would not sprint 2 days later. I do not believe in sprinting depressed, sick, banged up, limping athletes. We just don't do that. And it's hard because it's not the way you and I grew up in sports. But by God, everybody did everything, no matter, what it took. I can remember days when I had a swollen ankle from an ankle injury, and I didn't get out of doing anything. I did everything in practice that everybody else did, even though I was limping through my 40 gassers or whatever. So what I would do is those guys would literally sit out that sprint training, and they probably should sit out practice too. They probably should be an observer. Now, this drives coaches crazy. And I have to admit, I'm 64, 43 years in coaching. My dad coached 47 years. So I got a lot of old school DNA in me. And so in a typical sprint workout, I'll have about 35 sprinters on my track team. I will typically have 3 guys that are sitting out the workout on their own. And part of me wants to say, what the hell? But my guys understand that it's a binary choice. A, you feel good, you sprint. B, it hurts, your foot hurts, whatever, you don't sprint. And so that is really hard. But if you really care about your team speed and your team health, then you will trust your athletes to make that decision. I did get the question in a forum like this, Coach, don't you have a lot of situations where guys fake injuries to get out of the work? And I'm like, no, not one time ever. That's culture. And if your work is that disgustingly terrible and hated by your athletes, they're never going to be a good team anyway. So my guys want to practice. Each and every one looks forward to practice, which is another really healthy thing with speed. And I think it contributes to winning as well. 3 days a week gets a little complicated because I'm a real believer when I coach football coaches to feed the cats, which is also known as sprint-based football. I tell them, high school coaches, I tell them to give their players Saturday and Sunday off. Encourage your players to sleep till noon, wake up, watch football on Saturday, wake up, watch football on Sunday, and miss football. I want them in a state of missing the game. So if you do that, I think you only have 2 days that you can sprint during the week. With one possible, this is crazy, but one possible way to get in 3 sprint workouts in a week would be to sprint on Monday, sprint on Wednesday, and sprint on game day. And of course, that makes people's heads blow up. Like sprint on game day. Are you kidding me? Yeah, you can't do that, blah, blah, blah. Well, I mean, Jimmy Radcliffe at Oregon believed in doing a CNS lift in the weight room on game day. They would do, it wasn't much. It was like a set or 2 sets of snatches. He said that was high CNS, and who am I to argue with Jimmy? He's the greatest. But you know what's also really good CNS is doing 60 seconds of bouncy, snappy, high electricity sprint work. I I think that the typical football warm-up, and I've been through 40-minute warm-ups for varsity high school football that literally tried to get guys tired during the warm-up. We did stations, and we had to run from station to station. And literally, that was the most needed water break in the entire football practice, was after a 40-minute warm-up. And coaches literally wanted a state of fatigue going into practice for some reason to learn how to play in the fourth quarter or something, but basically just create a sloppy practice. Well, a sprint workout, what it does, it's so snappy, so fast, only 60 seconds of work. Every single guy feels better at the end of the workout than they did at the start, which I think is the perfect warm-up. Now, you start talking about game day. Oh my God. I have seen football teams out on the field, high school football teams, over an hour before the game. Everybody's all jacked up. You know, they watch, remember the Titans or something the night before, and they're all jacked up. And they spend like an entire game's worth of energy in a 1 hour warm-up before the game. And a sprint-based football program will try to limit that to more like 25 minutes or 20 minutes. They'll also do RPR, like in the gym, indoors, before they go out. Basically, you're trying to hold your guys back instead of letting them out on the field. And of course, coaches are just as bad. They want to get out on the field. They can't wait for that damn game because the practice week sucks so bad. Finally, it's the glory of the game week. So consider a Monday speed workout, a Wednesday speed workout, and then a game day speed workout. And there's actually, this has actually been done. There's a girls basketball team in Minnesota that won the state championship, girls basketball, who did speed workouts on the day of the game. They did my atomic speed workout, 10 speed drills, 2 time sprints, the day of a game. And if you ask the coach, like, didn't it get your girls tired? You say, hell no. It lit them up. It fired up their nervous system. They were more ready to play because of that type of work than doing like 2-line layups for 45 minutes before a game or whatever. So that'd be the other possibility. But the people the hundreds of schools that do sprint-based football right now, they typically do 2 per week. I think TCU got by with doing 3 because they had a 6-day week, which helps. But like I said, you could actually consider going 3 days of sprinting if you did on game day.